The boy who left and what he found. When Kofi walked into the village after 10 long years, what he saw made his blood turn cold. His mother's hut, the one she kept so clean and warm, was no longer there. In its place was a pile of dirt and weeds, as if someone had buried her whole life. Kofi was the youngest son of Ama, a woman known for her strength and kindness. She was the one everyone ran to when they needed help, even though she had so little herself. She made ends meet by selling fruits in the market and weaving baskets. Kofi had grown up watching her struggle. His father had passed when he was only 7, and Ama raised him and his sisters alone. But Kofi was different from the others. He dreamed of more. He wanted to see beyond the dusty roads and the small huts of his village. And more than anything, he wanted to give his mother a better life. One day, an elder in the village told him about opportunities in Europe. Work hard there, the elder said, and you can send money back home. The idea was like a seed planted in Kofi's mind. He couldn't stop thinking about it. Ama didn't want him to leave. Kofi, she said, our ancestors blessed the ground we walk on. Why leave it for a place where you don't know the people, the language, or the customs? But Kofi had made up his mind. Mama, I'll come back for you. I'll build you a bigger house. You won't have to work again. His words were full of hope, and Ama, though reluctant, gave her blessing. The journey was harder than Kofi imagined. He sold everything he had to pay for his trip. The boat ride across the sea was the worst. He thought he would die on the cold, crowded vessel. But he survived, and when he stepped onto foreign soil, he promised himself he would never waste the chance he had taken. He worked in factories, restaurants, and construction sites. The hours were long, and the pay was small, but Kofi sent every bit he could back home. Every letter from Ama was filled with gratitude and stories of how the money was helping the family. But as the years passed, the letters became fewer. Kofi told himself it was because Ama was getting older and writing was harder for her. He worked even harder, dreaming of the day he would return to her and show her what he had achieved. When Kofi finally saved enough to return, he was no longer the boy who had left. His hands were rough, and his face was worn. But his heart was full of hope as the plane landed on African soil. He arrived at the village at night, and everything felt strange. The air was heavy, and the streets were too quiet. He rushed to his mother's hut, expecting to see her sitting by the fire. But the hut was gone. Kofi asked an old man sitting nearby, "Where is my mother's house?" The man looked at him with sorrow. "Ama," he asked. "She passed 5 years ago, Kofi. She waited for you, but you never came. When the letters stopped, she thought you had forgotten her." The words hit Kofi like a blow. He fell to his knees, his chest tightening. He couldn't breathe. "No," he whispered. "No, I didn't forget. I sent money. I worked for her." The man sighed. "The money stopped coming, Kofi. We didn't know where you were." She tried to hold on, but the sickness took her. Kofi stayed by the ruins of his mother's hut that night, weeping for what he had lost. He realized the world he had chased had cost him everything that truly mattered. His mother, the one person he had worked so hard for, was gone. As the sun rose, Kofi made a vow. He would rebuild the hut, not for himself, but as a tribute to Ama. He would stay in the village, where the air carried the whispers of his ancestors and the memory of his mother. Because sometimes, Kofi thought, coming back too late is worse than never leaving at all.